Coming up on Carolina Week, President Obama is in town and students lined up just to catch a glimpse.
Another big night on Franklin Street will recap the highlights of Halloween 2016.
And the number of Latino voters in North Carolina is on the rise. Could that change the election? All that and more Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
It's countdown to Election Day and the campaigns are moving into high gear. Hello everyone, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
And I'm Sharon Nunn. The campus is buzzing as the Commander-in-Chief makes a stop at UNC. The announcement of Obama's visit came Saturday, and almost immediately the frenzy to secure tickets began. Those who got tickets started lining up at 8 this morning for the president's speech. For many in line, this is their first opportunity to see a sitting president in person before he leaves office.
I'm looking forward to hearing why Obama supports Hillary, because I'm still trying to figure that out for myself.
I guess I want to hear him talk about why we should vote for Hillary. It's my first voting experience, so trying to decide who to vote for.
Just hearing from a sitting president. I believe this is the third time a sitting president has been at UNC, so it's super exciting.
I'm really excited about the election, and even though I was originally Bernie, I do believe that Hillary will be a good president.
That's why I'm here, to see Obama endorse Hillary.
I'm looking forward to see the president and make him, for him to make his case against Donald Trump and why he does not deserve to be in the White House, and make his case for the person who's clearly qualified in this race.
I so admire the president. I wanted to see him before he goes out of office.
The president came to campaign for Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. He delivered his speech at Hooker Fields. The president encouraged the crowd to vote for the candidate who will push the country in what he called the right direction. He touted Clinton's stance on immigration, climate change, and foreign policy. Obama also said Democrats would not be able to win the election if they didn't win North Carolina. President Obama will be back in North Carolina on Friday as he campaigns for Clinton in Charlotte and Fayetteville.
Another big name visited campus to campaign for Clinton, HBO's Girls star Lena Dunham. Dunham met a group of students on the quad and spoke about the importance of early voting. The Golden Globe winner later led a march to Chapel of the Cross to encourage students at the event to go vote.
Clinton herself will be in North Carolina on Thursday. Donald Trump will also be in the state with campaign stops in Concord and Selma.
In presidential election years, campus elections often get less attention. Voting ended Friday for 2 campus referendums. Better Together and 2 for 2. The referendums proposed to have 2 student governments, one for graduate students, one for undergraduate students. Neither referendum passed. Campus elections continue this Friday when students can cast their ballots for Mr. and Miss UNC.
A lawsuit could be in the works over the university's refusal to release sexual assault records. The Daily Tar Heel is prepared to sue the university, saying UNC has repeatedly denied the newspaper's requests for the records of people responsible for rape, sexual assault, and misconduct. In a letter to the DTH, university officials said they're denying the requests because of federal privacy laws that require the university to protect students' educational records. And if you drive, it might be a good idea to fill up your tank. Gas prices could be going up within the next few days or even hours. It's all because of a pipeline explosion in Alabama, not far from where the pipes burst last month. The explosion injured 7 workers.
Students who spent weeks preparing their Halloween costumes and those who spent just a few minutes all gathered to show off their creativity Monday night during one of Chapel Hill's biggest holidays. Reporter Erin Wygant recaps the night.
Halloween in Chapel Hill brings together the wilderness explorer from Up and Harry Potter's Hagrid. More than 25,000 people flooded downtown looking to capture these rare moments.
I'm standing in the middle of Franklin Street for the annual Homegrown Halloween celebration, where students and families can show off all their costumes. There's a lot of creativity here tonight.
And that creativity didn't go unnoticed.
Usually, I don't know, there's multiples of everything, but I think a lot of people got really creative this year, and it's really fun.
Graduate student Tanner Federo spent 2 weeks working on his outhouse costume. But this wasn't his first attempt at plumbing apparel.
I did a shower 2 years ago, a guy in a shower, but I think I've gotten a better response with this one.
Junior Brad Pear and his friends had less time and money to prepare their costumes.
We don't really have that much money, so we just had a bunch of these cases lying around and we made gladiator costumes.
A doo-wop group from the Chapel Hill Senior Center entertained people with their harmonies. The 5 friends call themselves the Retros. Others were less prepared with their performances, but in the true spirit of Kimmy Schmidt, still gave it plenty of heart.
Unbreakable. Hey,
Whether the costumes were store-bought or homemade, Franklin Street Halloween brought students and community members together, and Chapel Hill was along for the ride. On Franklin Street, I'm Erin Wygant reporting.
That was fantastic. In past years, Halloween on Franklin Street has led to multiple arrests and dozens of injuries, but that was not the case this Halloween. Police say they made only 1 arrest on Franklin Street, and that was for a reported groping incident. Orange County Emergency Services treated 4 people, 3 for alcohol-related incidents and 1 for a medical issue. City officials hope to make Halloween on Franklin Street a more family-friendly event.
UNC police are investigating a string of related Halloween robberies on South Campus. An alert Carolina sent out Tuesday said a white male broke into several unlocked Morrison dorms over a 30-minute period. The man was wearing a cowboy costume, and campus police say he may be the resident of Ehring House. Need a lift to the polls? One group is offering environmentally friendly rides for voters.
With Election Day only 6 days away, politics is at the forefront in a battleground state like North Carolina.
We'll tell you what you need to know before you cast your ballot. It's time for Carolina Week Politics.
Laws about the voting process can be unclear, especially when they differ from state to state.
Reporter Anique Joseph explains the do's and don'ts of voting in North Carolina.
Can you walk in to vote? Yes. Then you can make park anywhere on the left.
All right.
Thank you.
Voters came by car, foot.
Perfect. Thank you.
Even by motorcycle to take advantage of early voting.
And that's a big thing because it wasn't available earlier this year.
Interim director with Durham County Board of Elections, Kate Costner, says the reason for most of the confusion
is the fact that we don't have photo ID requirement in this election.
Something voters may have missed.
We've spent a good portion of this year talking about that, but now it's been rescinded.
We've had a political battle over our voting rules, and you've got to see it as part of the struggle for power.
And when this happens, Professor Farrell Guillory says voters want their voices heard.
We've learned in this state that being in the maelstrom of a heated election, people get excited and they want to go vote.
Guillory says now it's not as restrictive. Voters have more options. Same-day registration, out-of-precinct voting, and pre-registration are all allowed. Costner says phone use in the polling area was once banned.
You were not allowed to have cell phones or electronic equipment.
Voters check in here, then they head through those doors to the ballot box. Once here, you can use your phone to look up any notes that you might have taken on the candidate of your choice. Selfies, not okay. Now, taking a picture or capturing any images of your ballot, the ballot box, or any other voters in this area is a no-no.
It's a fine line. It depends on if you want to dance that fine line of whether you want to end up like Justin Timberlake. He's catching a lot of heat because of taking the picture with the ballot.
Breaking voter laws in North Carolina is a felony. In Durham, I'm Anique Joseph reporting.
Now we want to mention that Anique didn't break any laws. She wasn't in the act of voting at the time, and the polling place was closed when she took that selfie.
UNC students are getting free rides to the voting polls. The environmental committee Next Gen Climate rode around on campus Thursday and Friday, rickshawing people to the nearest polling place. Although the group did endorse Clinton and wore orange Take Action Stop Trump shirts, they said they would take any voter to the polls.
North Carolina is one of the most divided battleground states.
and one minority group has been hitting the polls more than ever before. Reporter Sofia de la Guardia tells us why Latino voting is on the rise and how it could affect the election.
Thousands of Latinos are now eligible to cast their votes and make their voices heard in this week's presidential election. Javier Chacon is one of these newly registered voters. Chacon, a native from Honduras, moved to the U.S. when he was 6 years old. After moving around the world for several years, the Chacon family eventually settled again in the United States, finally gaining their citizenship late last year. Chacon says his family couldn't believe that after so many years, they'd finally get to vote.
So when they became citizens, they were overjoyed. My dad is super excited now to vote. He's just like, I can't wait to go. Like, you better go early because I'm going early. Like, go early. And I'm just like, all right, I'll go early, Dad.
In the past 8 years, registered Latino voters in the state nearly doubled, from 68,000 in 2008 to 135,000 in 2016. But Dr. Rebecca Tippett, director of the Carolina Population Center, says that even though there's been an increase in Latino voter registration, we're still far behind in comparison to electorates from other states.
North Carolina has almost 1 million Hispanic residents, but we have one of the smallest Latino electorates of any state in the nation because of the citizenship and age structure of our Latino population.
However, this group makes up only 2% of registered voters. But Tippett says a small group can make the difference in tilting the ballot. According to the Wall Street Journal, Hillary Clinton holds the lead in the group with 65% of the Latino vote, in comparison to 17% for Donald Trump. Chacon says Trump's damaging rhetoric against the Latino community is causing them to rebel against the candidate.
While it's further demonizing us, it's really spurring us in action.
And just yesterday, Chacon finally got to fulfill his dream of casting his vote.
I think I was most excited about putting down Hillary's name. Just voting for the presidential candidate. It might not seem like a lot, but I guess it's a very iconic thing.
Chacon says voting finally made him feel American. In Chapel Hill, Sofia de la Guardia reporting.
This year, a record 27.3 million Latinos are registered to vote across the country.
You may have noticed it, but the nonpartisan political network C-SPAN brought their campaign bus to campus on Tuesday. The multimedia bus invited visitors to interact with C-SPAN's touchscreen devices, HD TVs, and onboard news studio. The purpose of the C-SPAN bus is to provide information about this year's election and the presidential candidates. Visitors could also check out C-SPAN's video library, which includes more than 220,000 hours of documented political footage dating back to 1987.
Our goal for being here is just to promote C-SPAN and our resources. So we're not here to tell you to vote, we're not here to tell you who to vote for, but what we will do is give you enough information that you're able to make a really informed decision about this election cycle.
The C-SPAN bus program has been around since 1993 and is in all 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii. Campus is slowly turning shades of red and yellow.
Now that it looks like fall, Alex Clement is up next with when it will feel like fall.
Hey, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us today. It's Alex Clement with your meteorologist with your Carolina Week weather. It has felt a lot like summer, but it looked like fall. Don't worry, the cooler temperatures will be coming back soon, and I've got when that'll happen coming up. If we take a look at the surface map here, you can see that the high pressure dome over the southeast here is what we can thank for the beautiful weather that we've experienced lately. But if you look back to the west, over the plains and the Midwest, you can see this frontal boundary associated with moisture is slowly moving this way, and there's more high pressure behind it that's going to be coming in and bringing us beautiful weather for the weekend, but some chillier temperatures, so you'll want to do layers. Layers will be key for the weekend and the following rest of the week. As you look through to tomorrow, that front will be crossing North Carolina, bringing with it a chance of rain. The daytime's going to be beautiful. The front's not expected to pass through until sometime in the late evening hours, after 8 o'clock. So if you're going to be out and about tomorrow night, an umbrella handy may not be a bad idea, but as far as the daytime, we'll have highs in the 80s. It's going to be beautiful. As we zoom in, you can see the radar. From the triad to the triangle, nothing but sunshine. It's a beautiful day to be in North Carolina. Today, 78 degrees, sunny, winds light and variable. Tonight, we're going to keep those clear skies and light and variable winds, but without that cloud cover, it's going to let us drop down into the 50s. We'll have a low of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, on your way out the door, 8 a.m., we have 58 degrees. By noon, we'll warm up to 77, and then by 3, we'll be at 82, which is near our high temperature. Again, tomorrow night, we may have that chance of rain, but as far as the day, it's going to be beautiful. For your football forecast, this weekend, UNC is hosting Georgia Tech. For your early tailgate, got 58 degrees. Kickoff is at 12:30, so we'll be at 65. And then for your post game, we'll be all the way up to 66 degrees. As far as the rest of the week goes, your voter forecast for Tuesday, it is going to be chilly, but a beautiful day also, so make sure you get out to the polls to cast your vote. As for your 5-day forecast goes, Thursday, we have 83 as your high. We'll drop down to 55 at night, but then that chance of rain comes through, and we'll have highs in the 60s, the mid to upper 60s, and lows in the 40s. So you'll be able to break out those layers, and fall has returned.
Why is it taking so long for fall to get here this year? It seems like it's taken longer for it to cool off.
You know, seasonal variability, it really depends, you know, and of course, depending on how long you've been here, North Carolina, it's warm one week and then it's cold the next. But I think that it's going to start getting a little chillier as we move closer to December.
Well, that's good. Thank you so much, Alex.
Absolutely.
The UNC women's soccer team is no stranger to winning national championships.
But this year, they could be facing the wrong side of history. Rivers Upchurch is up next with sports.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Rivers Upchurch with sports. UNC is often called a basketball school, but it's the women's soccer program that's historically the best on campus. 21 national championships since 1982 is a run unlike any other in college sports. But this year, failing to win could make history. Keegan Matheson has more.
Since 1979, Anson Dorrance has coached the women's soccer team to 22 national championships. This year, the pressure to win a national title is at an all-time high. The most recent championship was back in 2012. So if the Heels don't win the championship this year, it would be the first graduating class without a title. But the hopes are high.
I think that was the goal that I had in coming here and that all of us have in coming here. So, I mean, every year it's different. Every year all the teams are different and they've gotten better and better every year. But I think we have a really good shot this year, so we're excited.
This is Heather O'Reilly calling the game Thursday night for the Heels. She's a two-time national champion and is just one of the many alumni who know what it's like to hoist the trophy here at UNC. Surprisingly, Coach Dorrance feels no burden to win another ship.
And I would never put the pressure on them to have to win a national championship, not even for themselves. So I'm very proud of my kids, and I would love for them to achieve their potential. If that involves a championship, so be it. But if not, again, I couldn't be more excited about how much better they've come each week.
This entire organization knows what's at stake this postseason, and with the dominating ACC tournament win on Sunday, the Heels seem to be in postseason form. In Chapel Hill, I'm Keegan Matheson reporting.
Before the NCAA tournament starts, the Heels have to take care of business in the conference. After a convincing 3-0 win against UVA in the quarterfinals last weekend, Carolina plays the top-seeded Notre Dame Fighting Irish on Friday in Charleston. If the Heels win, they will advance to the ACC championship game to face either Florida State or Clemson. The tournament championship game will be on Sunday at noon on ESPNU. The men's soccer team is also starting play in the conference tournament this weekend and will host the winner of Virginia Tech and Boston College. The Heels rank 3rd nationally and have the #1 seed in the tournament. So, if they keep winning, they'll play at home until the championship game. The football team comes off a bye week to host Georgia Tech on Saturday, and junior quarterback Mitch Trubisky will yet again lead the Tar Heels onto the field. Carolina fans have argued since early in the season that Trubisky is one of the best QBs in the country, and now football fans and analysts around the country are starting to agree. On Monday, Trubisky was named one of 18 semifinalists for the Maxwell Award. The Maxwell is awarded annually to the best player in the country and is widely viewed as the second most prestigious individual award in college football. The past 2 Maxwell winners both went on to win the Heisman. Trubisky also has been named the #1 quarterback prospect for the 2017 NFL Draft, according to ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. Quarterbacks have gone #1 overall in 6 of the last 8 drafts, so Trubisky could be hearing his name called very early in April. So we'll see on Saturday if Trubisky can continue the stellar season and help the Heels get their 5th conference win of the year.
Hope so. So if he does leave, how high up in the draft do you think he can get?
Well, barring an injury, I think he is going to leave because Mitch Trubisky, if he is the #1 quarterback in the draft class, will be a surefire top 10 draft pick. Quarterbacks #1 and #2 overall in both of the last 2 drafts. And if he is up there with Watson and Barrett and the rest of these quarterbacks that have all this hype, then he'll be hearing his name called very early, and anything but going pro would be foolish.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Rivers.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, there have been plenty of events these past few days having to do with Halloween.
We show you a celebration that offers a cultural alternative. Coming up next. People around the world celebrate a holiday called Day of the Dead.
Reporter Carol Bono gives us a glimpse into a local event that embraces the traditions of Dia de los Muertos.
Music, dance, face painting, and costumes. For bystanders, Saturday's Day of the Dead 5K could be mistaken for a Halloween celebration. But there's more to this event than meets the eye.
Day of the Dead has more of a traditional meaning to it, because you do honor your loved ones and you think about that and you take a moment to show your love for them even though they're not with us anymore.
For one of the organizers, centering the race around the Dia de los Muertos gave her the chance to honor her sister, who passed away 13 years ago this October.
So it was sort of like a way for me to celebrate her memory in the space that, the color and the festivities of the Day of the Dead bring.
Organizers know the vibrant colors and sounds attract people who aren't familiar, which is why they see the event as a learning opportunity.
The Day of the Dead and the way we run this event is made in a way that people not only have fun, but learn a little something.
Although participants of all ages join the event to dress up and have a fun time, this traditional celebration serves a greater purpose, to recognize that death is not a taboo topic.
The dressing up part of it is kind of like opening the door so people can have a bigger, better conversation about it. Because there's nothing wrong or there's anything to be ashamed about death, it's just like part of the cycle of life.
Reporting from downtown Raleigh, I'm Carol Bono.
Well, that looked like a blast.
I know it did.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
And today we're going to leave you with this bit from James Taylor at the rally. Good night.
Carolina, can you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? It is just like a friend of mine. You hit me from behind. I'll be gone to Carolina again, my mind. It was dark and silent late last night. I think I might have heard